Well, hello and welcome to a Friday daily. And Friday means that we have up to three expansions that the cards have been chosen from, and the landscapes as well. And this time around, it's Rising Sun. I spot some Cornucopia and Guilds, and I spot some Empires. Yeah, let's get into this kingdom. And as always, if you are not interested in me discussing the cards one by one, feel free to skip to the timestamp for that. We have for two Snake Witch, an attack card that on play is just a cantrip plus one card plus one action. And then if your hand has no duplicate cards, you may reveal it and return the Snake Witch that you just played to its pile to have each other player gain a curse. So this one goes off of some variety in your hand. So you might think it's a Cornucopia and Guilds card, but it is actually one of the latest sets, which is Rising Sun. And yeah, it's a rather, I don't know, it's inconsequential cursing variant. Like usually it's not super easy to curse your opponent with them. Sometimes it's worth it to go for them, but here, as there is no thinning at all, it might be a little hard to activate. Although Rustic Village allows you to discard some cards from your hand. But I don't think we're going to go for that here. Farrier, on the other hand, is a super relevant card whenever it pops up because it gives you, well, the on-play effect is just plus one card, plus one action, and a buy. So only a buy better than a Snake, which is on direct on-play effect if you don't have diverse cards in your hand. But also, Farrier has this overpay option, plus one card per at the end of this turn per one coin overpaid. So yeah, that allows you to start your next turn with really big hands, and if you somehow can generate the money to justify overpaying, then you can get spinning and get going really quickly. However, there is an attack card here, Footpad, which gives you two coffers on play, but each other player also has to discard down to three cards in hand. So in games, so footpad here means that farriers can be, or farrier overpays can be a little risky because if you just overpaid for money to have a nine card hand and then your opponent plays footpad, you're in for some sad times. Of course, you can still use it to get to the cards you want to see more reliably, but yeah, it can be annoying. Also, Footpad has this effect in games using this when you gain a card in an action phase plus one card. This one further disincentivizes Snake Witch, as your opponent will gain a curse and immediately draw a card during your action phase. There is no other card that can be gained during your action phase, I think, here. Wait, let me. Yeah. So really, the only thing Footpad below the line effect synergizes with here is Snake Witch. But yeah, its presence still makes Farrier much worse. Enchantress is a wall of text card. It's an action duration attack card. Until your next turn, the first time each other player plays an action card on their turn, they get plus one card and plus one action instead of following its instructions. And then at the start of your next turn, plus two cards. So this one is duration draw in its effect just as good or as bad as Moat, but it also yeah, has an attack that nullifies your opponent's first played action card. And yeah, this is going to be effective if your opponent just does a very simplistic monolithic single terminal strategy. It sometimes can be annoying if you want to get your own enchantresses down. It sometimes can alleviate terminal tension. Um, but yeah, having a pair of those, a sandwich of enchantresses, isn't too bad usually, if you can come up with the actions easily. But it's not the most amazing of draws. Yeah. Gladiator, and Gladiator also means that it comes with fortune. So there's 5 copies of Gladiator on top, which each give +2. So on play, just give +2. It's a terminal silver essentially, unless you can reveal a card from your hand that your opponent does not have a copy of in their hand. They can reveal it basically to counter your Gladiator, and in that case, it will give you +3. And also, if your opponent cannot reveal a Gladiator from their hand, the same card that you reveal from their hand, you also trash a Gladiator from its pile. So that way, Gladiators will get trashed over time, and if the 5th Gladiator is gone, Fortunes will be revealed, and Fortune is one of the strongest payload cards in the game. +1 buy, double your coin if you haven't yet this turn. So if you've played 3 golds before playing Fortune, you'll have 9 coins, and then after playing Fortune, suddenly you'll have 18. And also, when you gain this, gain a gold per gladiator you have in play. So this can really accelerate your economy if you have gladiators in play, but also it's very expensive. It costs 8 plus 8 debt. But of course, also its effect helps you pay off that price point. Then we have Advisor. Advisor is an action card we've seen a couple of times already. It's a worse version of a lab in that it only draws you the 2 worst cards of the 3 top cards of your deck. The other one, chosen by your opponent, is discarded, but it only costs 4. I don't know, it's draw. Rustic Village, +1 sun token, which I'll get into in a bit, and then just the villager effect, and you may also discard 2 cards for +1 card. This can help with cycling, especially if you're not able to trash, and also can lower your hand variety, or I mean, can lower duplicate copies for the Snake, here, as I said, I don't think we're going for that. But yeah, Rustic Village also has that +1 sun, and +1 sun means that after 5 Rustic Villages having been played in total, Enlightenment will trigger the prophecy. And Enlightenment will mean that as soon as the 5 sun tokens are gone, we will have this condition that treasures are also actions. When you play a treasure in an action phase, instead of following its instructions, +1 card and +1 action. So yeah, this turns all coppers, gold, silvers, rice into action cards that during your action phase give you +1 card, +1 action. So you can very easily just cycle through all of your coppers, essentially thinning them out of your deck. And even better than that, because you can use the leftover coppers for coin in your buy phase. And also note that this essentially, as soon as this is active, Enchantress attack won't be super relevant anymore, because your opponent can just play a copper and get +1 card, +1 action. And yeah, Rustic Village enables that. And anything else to go with that? Not for now, I think. We have Litter, +2 cards, +2 actions, and 1 debt you get. So Lost City type thing, +2 cards, +2 actions is a super strong effect. But also each time you play it, you get 1 debt. So let's say you draw 2 coppers with it. It's the same as if you hadn't had the Litter, because the coppers, because 1 copper you would have had in your hand instead of the Litter, and the other copper is used to pay off the debt. But of course, it does so much more for you. It helps you cycle through to your better cards, and as soon as Enlightenment is active, drawing 2 coppers means that you can draw two other cards and get 2 other cards that you want to see more often. Yeah, it's decent. Merchant Guild, +1 buy, +1 coin, and at the end of your buy phase this turn, 1 coffers per card you gained in it. And this effect is very interesting, because doesn't, so it used to count the cards you bought, but by now it counts the cards you're gaining during your buy phase. And if there are other effects that can gain stuff during your buy phase, then that's that is a super nice benefit for Merchant Guild. I'm sorry. I'm still a bit on the sicklish side, but it's really getting better. I think tomorrow I'm gonna go play volleyball again. We have with Merchant Guild synergizing, we have Banquet. This is a nice combo with this event from Empires, I think. Gain 2 coppers and a non-victory card costing up to 5. So Banquet usually is really not that notable. I know the AI loves to spam it for whatever reason, but gaining those 2 coppers is not super great for your deck usually. But if you have a Merchant Guild in play or multiple, then gaining those 2 coppers will mean that next turn you'll have 2 extra coffers, and that will, yeah, exponentially accelerate essentially. And that's one synergy with Banquet. And of course, Enlightenment also helps Banquet because as soon as the prophecy is active, the coppers in your deck don't matter anymore. So let's see where this will take us. We have one more card to discuss, Rice, +1 buy, 1 coin per different type amongst the cards you have in play. Here in this game, we'll be able to have action, duration, attack, omen, and treasure. So Rice will be worth up to 5 coins if we can get all of those different things into play. But also it costs 7 to buy it. I'm not sure whether we'll go for this or whether just the Merchant Guild stuff will be enough payload for us. Finally, we have a landmark, Bandit Fort. Landmarks modify how you score victory points. And this one says when scoring, minus 2 coins for each silver and each gold you have. So silver and gold will be not super good, but yeah, just -2 victory points is also not that steep of a penalty. Okay, yeah, 12 minutes. I'm sorry, I'm still on the slow side with my sickness. You can hear it in my voice, but let's try to analyze this kingdom. The first thing we note is that there is no thinning. There is some thinning as soon as enlightenment is possible, but there is no curse trashing, there is no exiling, nothing else, nothing on that front. We also note that there's draw, village, plus buy, everything that we'd like to. Farrier also enables you to build up good hand sizes. Footpad counters that. And we do note that there's a Merchant Guild Banquet combo. Before I discuss this, let's see how this reflects in the kingdom plot. There's some alt VP through Bandit Fort, essentially, but not really relevant. There is, yeah, as I said, the only thinning is very weak in Enlightenment, but it does help the Banquet stuff. So I think what we're going to try to do is, yeah, try to force this prophecy to happen so we can abuse the Merchant Guild Banquet stuff. And I'm not sure how we are going to accomplish this fastest. Maybe we're even going to open Rustic Village. Usually you don't want to open Village because the +2 actions don't do anything for you in your opening shuffle, but this ability actually means that you may cycle to estates or a copper and estate and, yeah, get through your next shuffle a bit quicker and then get closer to the enlightenment triggering. I think the AI, knowing the AI, it will go for Banquet spam for 5 cost cards, maybe Footpad and Merchant Guilds. I'm not sure, it usually isn't such a fan of Litter. As soon as Enlightenment is active, we do also want to go for Banquet spam into Litter Merchant Guild stuff. But for the opening, I think we're good with just going Rustic Village Enchantress. Could also think about Rustic Village farrier overpay, but that's kind of a nothing thing for our next hand. Or actually, do we want to do that? That would mean that we get a plus buy into our deck, which will be useful later. And we might hit 5 on turn 3. We will see a bunch of cards. We'll cycle a bunch. We might make the Rustic Village miss the shuffle the next turn. But I think actually, the more I think about it, the more I like the Rustic Village Farrier overpay. I have to note that going for the strategy is kind of risky if the AI goes for a lot of Banquet stuff itself and plays the Enlightenment stuff as well. But yeah, I think I like it. We also will want to throw in a few advisors or litter later to have bigger hand sizes, get more merchant guilds into play than just one. And maybe also go for a footpad just so we keep AI's farrier overpays in check. But yeah, with that, maybe I can discuss what I'd go for on the 5-2 or 2-5. Think on the 5-2, I just go. It's 5-2 is a bit uncomfortable. I think I go Farrier just to get a buy-in. It doesn't do much for us in the early game, but it's okay. And then with that, I might go just for a Merchant Guild or a Footpad. But yeah, 5-2, I'm not as enthused about as the 4-3. And on the 3-4, I just go Enchantress Rustic Village, I think. Let's be aggressive with that Enlightenment stuff. And yeah, no surprise, AI goes for Banquet. Okay, let's overpay here. We cannot be hit by Footpad yet. And this is nice. What is amazing, actually, we do get to go through the shuffle a bunch. We do hit 5 here, which was far from guaranteed. And we do get to maybe put in a Merchant Guild already, just to be able to maybe accumulate a few coffers. So as soon as the Enlightenment is active, we can make use of that a bit more aggressively. We do get hit here. Now, here we could also Banquet already. Do we want to Banquet here is the question. It would yield us a few coffers. Sorry. It would yield us a few coffers, but it would also put 2 coppers into our deck, which is not that well under control. Maybe we do go for the Banquet, but also put in more Rustic Villages here. And yeah, the next turn, I think we can go for a Farrier Overpay. Look at AI's deck. It has played the Footpad, so the next 11 cards are not going to contain anything on that front. So here we can play the Rustic Village. These have been amazing Rustic Village draws here, to be fair. And yeah, well, AI also overpaid for a Farrier. So in principle, there is a chance that we'll have the Footpad in there again, but I would say the chance is light enough. So let's overpay 4 here, just go by ear, or maybe 5. Yeah, let's say the chance of 1 through 14 of AI hitting Footpad there are low enough, so we take them, just overpay a bunch, and hopefully have a great turn here. AI goes for a bunch of Banquet stuff to also get those Merchant Guilds in. It would be amazing if we found our Merchant Guild here. We don't. Yeah, that's bad. But on the bright side, we're quite likely to get the Enlightenment stuff going the next turn. So I think what I want to do now is maybe put in 2 advisors, or 1 advisor and another farrier overpay, just to make sure we see the rustic village and cycle a bit faster. And yeah, let's hope AI still doesn't find its footpad. It does, of course, but well, it was to be expected. Let's go for this advisor, amazing advisor. And here, I think we just buy buy a farrier and 2 coppers to now be able to do lots of this um, enlightenment stuff. AI does go for a province there. It does have 9 coffers. So in principle, it will be well set up. It doesn't have any villages though, so I'm fairly happy about just going through like this. It's a bit unfortunate that um, the advisor hit the merchant guild there, but here we already do get to double banquet. I think we want to just double banquet for merchant guilds. Do we have enough draw to draw them? I think so. So we need to draw 3 merchant guilds and 3 estates next turn. We have the advisor increasing our hand size, but we also have the rustic village to cycle through the estates a bit. So yeah, let's be greedy like that. And now also don't forget to use the rest of our buys for just coppers. Yeah, had our merchant guild not bottom decked that 1 turn, we might have been uh, much further ahead even. Right now we're not ahead. I have to stress, but yeah, we do not see the other things. Maybe I made the mistake there of playing the rustic village too early. But yeah, we at least got 2 merchant guilds in play, and I think here now we do want to stock up on draw. So let's get a few litters. Copper is about to pile. Sorry, and the AI does not play its coppers during the action phase, and um, yeah, that's just a big mistake, um, because it does want to maybe cycle to better cards, although it doesn't have any plus action, so cycling to its footpad or its or more merchant guilds. I'm sorry. Will not yield that much for it. We, on the other hand, do really want to find all of our merchant guilds, and yeah, we can play a few of those litters. We can play. Yeah, this is going to be a very clicky game. This rustic village, let's not discard just yet. The advisor is down there. No, the advisor we've already played. Yeah. Okay. And now we have, yeah, already 8 buys, 28 money. And we can just play it very safe, gain a few more of those litters. And yeah, just use everything up to gain kind of stuff. And maybe we want more merchant guild. I think we're fairly safe from a 3 pile. AI just doesn't have it in itself. Like it can at most generate 3 buys. Hmm. Yeah, so one more of those. We can unfortunately not gain duchies here, but we can gain gladiators and just double province here. Buy the last 2 coppers and have 48. Maybe what we should have done instead to just be a bit safer was a farrier overpaid, just to really ensure that we don't dud here. Actually, it might have been a bit reckless of me. Like we do really want to find our, well, yes, you can see we're just finding coppers, but we do really want to find our litters and advisors, the cards that increase our hand size. And as you saw, it was actually pretty close. I almost dudded there. I can, of course, discard victory cards. Now, the advisor isn't all too great because it will discard the good cards here. And that means that those cards, yeah, will contain good cards as well. But yeah, look at this. Let's reveal the litter to the AI. It doesn't have any of those. So we get one more coin. And draw here. It doesn't make sense to try to draw through to the last merchant guild, I think. But yeah, we have 8 buys, bunch of money, and yeah, even more money than we could have spent. And we do finish out the game in flying colors on turn 11. Yeah, I think this could have been a turn faster had we not bottom decked that one merchant guild. We also benefited of the AI really not playing this optimally. The AI should have gone for some village, some draw, I guess, also, and then used the enlightenment on the coppers. I don't know why it didn't. Yeah. In the end, we ended up skipping Enchantress and also Rice. I think that's fair here. You can go for them. The advisor was alright, I guess. It does increase your hand size here. And yeah, I think one mistake I really made was just on the on the penultimate turn, I should have overpaid Farrier just to have a less of a risky last turn. And look at this beauty, 38 coppers. When do you get to finish a game with 38 coppers in 11 turns? And yeah, have 48 points alongside. I don't know. And we also ended up skipping footpad because yeah, I didn't really seem to go for that much fairy overpaying. I think this kingdom would play much differently against a human opponent, not one of AI's best days. But yeah, with that, I am finished here, and I would like to thank you for watching, and we'll try to catch you next time. Goodbye.